And that's exactly what Amazon has done. That's exactly what Uber has done, right? Uber is essentially considered a migrant job. They're not even considered workers, right? They're considered independent contractors. So they don't even have the rights of workers. They already have precarious status. And here they are, they're at the heart of this massive corporation that supposedly employs 3 million taxi drivers, essentially. And yet it's never billed as a company that hires anyone, right? But at the end of the day, these workers are made precarious in a very different way. So it's not through temp agency work, it's not through the temporary foreign worker program. These are racialized precarious immigrants who are told that they're independent contractors working for a platform. But we think of Uber as a digital company, right? That it's digital prowess, it's the IT, it's the app that makes it work. We don't think about the invisible labor that actually props it up, similar to Amazon, right? And logistics more generally in our cities. And we've become accustomed to the way that e-commerce has become sort of this race, the new frontier of global capitalism, right? And the other discussion in the book is food, right? Which was a big discussion for all of us during the pandemic, right? Was that how can we actually reproduce our societies if no one's going to actually grow our food? And in Quebec, no one actually, even when they gave incentives to migrants to Quebecois, to please pick cabbage and we'll give you $250 extra a week, which was never offered to temporary foreign workers coming from Guatemala or Mexico, no Quebecois went to the fields, right? So it was done all by migrant labor. And when we think about food, it's not just the farms, it's across the entire, our food supply chain, whether it be meat processing, whether it be picking strawberries, whether it be in restaurants, whether it be in industrial bakeries, all of that migrant labor has propped up essentially a monopoly system of food and food distribution in our country, right? The Weston family is the wealthiest family, or one of the wealthiest families in this country. These 3 grocery companies control 76% of our food market, right? So there's 3 companies that control our entire agricultural process, our entire food system that we're relying on as human beings, and behind that is migrant labor that's cheapened at every step of the way, right? With extreme, working under extreme conditions and with consequences to them. So it's clear that the way migrant labor has been incorporated is essential, right? And so demonstrate that it's not on the margins, right? That when we think about, and so really, and the question in the last part of the book is about their resistance, right? And sort of the demands migrants have made. And thinking that, and it sort of has general lessons for us as a movement and general lessons for people who are active in various struggles, right? Is that one, that migrants do have agency, that they haven't been victims of this system, right? That it's not a question of charity or simply of human rights, but they have extreme agency and extreme power, whether it's exercised or not. There's been very, limited moments, but, migrants have showed immense, not just creativity, but willingness to organize. And we're talking about a moment where we always constantly feel that the left is in defeat, the left is in retreat, right? That the political parties no longer function, the NDP is useless, the unions, we can't rely on unions anymore, and we're also living in a moment of sort of this individual activism and whatnot. But when you look at what migrants are doing and how they're organizing, they're building these new communities of resistance, right? And they're organizing in various ways. So, and there's not one example. And unfortunately, in the book, you couldn't go through all of them. I tried to go through different aspects and different ways that migrants have actually been self-organizing, whether it be for workplace justice, and some of them have been worker centers. And so the worker center model, which really begins in the 1990s, and particularly in the US, and that we kind of as a tradition that we followed on, is really to try to build organizations that are rooted in the realities of immigrant and migrant workers, right? And to take on an organizing approach where they're in the lead and that the issues that they face are the issues that we take on, right? No matter how difficult or how challenging, that we don't impose, our demands or our approach, but we actually take the leadership from them.